$1,000 a day trading sounds crazy, right? But for me, it's become completely normal. And in this video, I'll be showing you the exact strategy I used to do it. What's good, YouTube? Julian here. And the truth is, when I first started, I tried everything. ICT, SMC, I even stacked a bunch of indicators on my charts, but honestly, it left me only more confused. Now, if you have been there, don't worry, it's completely normal. I understand it as well. I always believe that trading should be simple. And once I started using this method, everything finally clicked.
Nice.
I call it SRR and RSS. Now, as a prop firm trader, I trade other people's money, and using this system, yes, allowed me to consistently generate $1,000 days. I even show you real proof inside this video. So grab your notebooks, pay close attention, and let's get into it. Now, if you like videos like this, I'm going to give you 5 seconds. Help me out by clicking subscribe and also commenting more so that I can produce more videos like this for you guys. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Without further ado, let's get back into the video. Alright, so I just want to show you, this is one of the latest prop firm challenges that I actually did back in March, just to show you that this can actually be done easily. Now, I started this challenge on the 3rd of March and I reached a profit target on the 20th of March, literally 10k in just 14 trading days, using the same strategy that I'm about to share with you. And this is the actual screenshot of me passing the challenge as well. So you guys get to see how I use this strategy. Also just going to show you right here. This is some of the screenshots of how literally I actually do $1,000 per day. In 1 week is about $5,000, as you can see right here. Not just in March alone, April, June, July even, right? You can see this is something that's completely normal, and not all the days will be $1,000 days, but in average it's about $1,000 a day. Now, before I hop on the strategy, some of you may ask this question: what is the pair that you like to trade, and what pair is most effective for this strategy? Personally, I trade gold a lot, so I will naturally be showing you examples using gold. However, are you able to use this strategy for other asset classes? Later, I will actually show you some examples as well. Then we will see. Now, this was a recent trade on gold that happened on 11th of August. And as you can see right here, gold was in downtrend, literally creating lower lows and lower highs. Lower lows, lower highs. Lower lows, lower highs. All right. So in this situation, when it is very, very clear that it is a downtrend, would you look to buy or look to sell? Most people would be very scared to enter any buys, but for me and my community, we recognize a buying opportunity. Not only that, we also know what to do way in advance. So as you can see, on 11th of August at 2:50, I sent my students the game plan in my weekly mapping. And over here is the screenshot from the video where I specifically mentioned the buying opportunity. If you know this buying opportunity is at 3354 to 3349. Now, if I were to make this a little bit bigger for you, you would be able to see it right here. This is the entry zone, which is 3354 to 3349. Now, how did I get this zone? So this is one of the strategies that I actually teach, called the SRR buy. Now, let me ask you, if a support is able to break through a resistance 1 and also a resistance 2, resistance, forming a new resistance, is this considered a strong support? Yes, it is a strong support, right? What causes it to have enough volume to push up so high, so much so that it breaks through 2 resistance? Only the market makers, big institutions, hedge funds, they are the ones trading in volumes of tens of millions to hundreds of millions who are able to push the market up so much so that it breaks through all the resistance that we've seen. People like you and I, we are just a small fry. We don't move the markets. We are called retail traders. So instead of going against the market makers, why don't we just follow them? What I mean by this is, when price comes back to the support, this is where we stand by to have our buy entry, because as soon as the price comes back, taps into this zone right here, it will actually collect a lot of the buy orders that have been created right? And have yet been uncollected when the market pushed up. So when it comes back down, it will collect all these buy orders and continue its way up. So this is the pattern that you want to look for in the charts. So as you can see right here, this is SRR. Let me show you. S, support that breaks through resistance 1 and resistance 2, forming a new resistance. Now, this is the where we mark the entry area. So when price comes back down into the entry, this is where we will look to buy. Now, a quick tip for you guys. If you are looking for this pattern in the charts, start off by looking for a big movement like this. Once you see the big movement, look and see if it breaks through two resistance as shown right here. So as you can see, as price came back, touched the support right here, immediately price flew 110 pips. Now, if you're using one lot, this will mean that you would have made $1,100 within this trade. Now, Julian, what's the best time to use this trading strategy? The best time I would say would be H4, H1, and M30, especially on gold. This is an example of SRR on H4. As you can see, this is a support that breaks through resistance 1, breaks through resistance 2, forming a new resistance right above here. So once you see this, all you want to do, mark the support and wait for price to come back into the support area. Right here, you can see price just immediately tapped into our entry area and started pushing up aggressively. Eventually, this trade went up over 700 to 800 over pips, even higher. But if you're not greedy, you can take your profits at about 50 to 100 pips. Here is another example of SRR, support breaking through resistance 1. Now you may say, Julian, this is only breaking through one resistance. Where is the other resistance? So in that case, you want to look all the way to the left. Notice that on the left, there is another resistance right here, which we can actually mark, resistance 2. As long as it breaks through two resistance, that is fine, forming a new resistance right above here. Once you see this, mark the support and wait for price to come into the support area. As you can see, price immediately tapped our support area and started flying immediately after that. So if you entered here, this trade went up almost about 300 over pips. But again, if you are not greedy, just take profit at 100 pips or even 50 pips. Let me show you another trade, this time in H1. Support, breaking through resistance 1, breaking through resistance 2, forming a new resistance. Mark the entry and then wait for price to come into the entry zone. As you can see, price tapped into our entry zone, immediately flew out about 200 pips. So we can take our profits as usual at 50 or even 100 pips. Now, one question I get asked a lot is, Julian, where do you set your stop loss? So usually I like to put my stop loss roughly around 30 pips below the end of the support. So as you can see right here, the end is 3350. I'll just put mine around 3347. So as you can see, it didn't even come close to the stop loss area, giving us a nice 1:4 risk to reward, assuming you entered in the middle right here. Now, can this be applied on Forex as well? As you can see, this is GJ on the 4-hour chart. Usually for Forex pairs, I like to use it on the 4-hour chart. So you can see right here, this is a support breaking through resistance 1 and resistance 2, forming a new resistance. As usual, mark the support as our entry and then wait for price to come into our entry. As you can see, it touched the top of our entry and immediately went all the way up, giving us a very nice 150 pip movement. Now, Julian, can this be also used on crypto? Let's check it out. This is Bitcoin right here. Again, I spot a support that breaks through resistance 1, resistance 2, even resistance 3, forming a new resistance. What we want to do, mark the support and then wait for price to enter our entry. As you can see, price tapped the entry area, flew up about 400 pips. How about stocks? Same thing. Same pattern repeats itself. Let's take a look. Now with stocks, I like to use a bigger time frame. As you can see right here, I'm using the daily chart. But one thing you need to also know is that for stocks, there's going to be a lot of gaps in the market, like this area here, this area here, this area here, and many more. You get the point. You need to imagine that these gaps have been filled. But regardless, the pattern remains the same. Let me show you. As you can see, a support that breaks through resistance 1, resistance 2, forming a new resistance. Wait for price to come back into the zone. As you can see, price tap the zone, immediately flying up around $50. Okay, so future Julian here. As I'm editing the video, I realized that it wouldn't do justice if I did not include some common errors or mistakes that students frequently make. Some of these examples that I'm going to be showing you are examples from my students that have sent me their homework previously and I've given them feedback on it. So hopefully as I go through this doesn't happen to you as well. Is this a valid SRR buy? I'm going to give you 5 seconds to have a look at it. So this is in fact not a valid SRR buy. Why is that so? Because if you notice, this support that was marked did not break through two resistance. This resistance 1 and resistance 2 is incorrectly marked. It has to be a breakout of two visible and obvious resistance that are fresh. In this case, this support only broke through one resistance and not R2. As you can see, this is much higher than the new resistance. Therefore, this is incorrect. If you want me to show you a valid SRR, it would be this one right here. As you can see, this is a support that breaks through one resistance and this second resistance. So this is a correct SRR. This, in fact, there's another resistance right here that it actually also broke through that. So the reason why price came down to this area and all the way up. How about this one? I'm going to give you 5 seconds. So did the support break through to resistance? In fact, similar to just now, this support did not break through this resistance and this resistance that was marked. It only broke through this SR1 and this SR2, forming a new resistance. Therefore, price came down, touched here, and went up. So although the setup was correct, but the resistance was incorrectly marked. And if you don't mark it correctly when you're starting out, eventually this may lead to a bad habit, causing you to identify the wrong resistance that is being broken out from. So therefore, having feedback like this is extremely crucial in ensuring that you're doing it correct from the beginning. So as I mentioned, this is not a valid SRR buy. How about this one right here? So this SRR is also invalid because this new resistance that is formed is a wick candle closure. As you can see this long wick right here, showing that it only broke through resistance 1 and not a body candle close above resistance 2. This shows me that this is actually a wick setup and I consider this as invalid. How about this one right here? So this is not a valid SRR buy. Why? Because if you notice, S, break R, new R. You may say, Julian, this seems like a legit SRR buy setup. However, if you notice, this area right here has already been touched and price has already gone up. So this is no longer a valid SRR. How about this one right here? Take a look, 5 seconds. So if you notice, S, break R1, break R2, form a new resistance at the top right here. However, this is still a not valid SRR buy because price also has came down, collected all the buy entries here and already shot up. How about this one right here? Is this a valid SRR buy? Okay, before I reveal the answer to you, I want you to take a look. Support breaking through resistance 1, breaking through resistance 2, forming a new resistance. Now, question, which is the correct new resistance? Is it NR1, NR2, or is it NR3? Which one is it? 5 seconds, think about it. If you answered NR3, the answer is wrong. If you answered NR2, the answer is also wrong. The correct answer is NR1 because there is a doji right here, which means that price came all the way up here and stopped here, making a reversal, although it is quite small. Therefore, this area is known as the new resistance. So coming back, is this a valid SRR buy? If you consider this NR1 as the new resistance, then yes, this is a valid SRR buy because it meets all the criteria of our SRR buy. Now take a look at this example right here. Is this a valid SRR buy? 5 seconds. Okay, so this is in fact not a valid SRR buy. But you say, Julian, this seems to work. It touched the entry area and went all the way up. Yes, it may look like it works right now, but can you guarantee that it will work all the time if you are doing it wrongly? Now, why did I say that this is an incorrect SRR buy? Because take a look, this support right here broke through R1 but did not break through R2. This R2 is higher than this NR right here. So we consider this as an invalid SRR. We want this new resistance to be much higher, body candle close above R2 for it to consider it as an SRR. Also, one question I get asked a lot is, do you look at the body candle for R1 and R2 or do you look at the wicks? I look at the wicks for R1 and R2, but for NR, I want to see a body candle close, indicating a strong breakout. Have a look at this one right here. 5 seconds to decide if this is a valid SRR buy. So if you look at this support, it broke through resistance 1, it broke through resistance 2, and resistance 3. However, when you mark this area, you may see that it may have hit your stop loss down below. And you may say, Julian, this seems like a terrible strategy because it doesn't work. Is it really true? Now, if you have a look, the actual entry area is valid from S to R1. Therefore, the entry zone should be marked as such. If you have a look, price already created this new resistance, came back down, collected the entry before flying up. So this in fact a valid SRR buy, just that the entry area was incorrectly marked. Now one question I always get asked is, Julian, especially if the time frame is big, do we have to wait for a long time in order for price to enter our zone? Well, if it is a high quality setup, does it matter how long it takes in order for it to go into the zone? When it enters, you know that immediately it will fly. Doesn't really matter, right? So why do you need to take 20, 30 setups in a day when you can just have 2, 3 great setups in order for you to meet your profit target? Think about it. So these are some of my students that have used the SRR buy and profited from it. GL here, who profited about 5,875. Alan here profited about 279. Peter profited about 1,444. Fiona 954, Biju profited 555. We also have a very consistent win rate. As you can see, these are a few of our performances that I regularly share in my Telegram. 100% win rate, August 11 to August 15, 100% win rate, August 4th to August 8, 92% win rate, July 28 to August 1st, 83% win rate. Do I take 20 to 30 setups in a day? Honestly, I don't. And I've been very transparent in sharing my win rates as well. As you can see right here, these are the win rates of my signals that I've shared in my group, leading all the way back up to October of 2024. Now, does it mean that it's a 100% win rate? You can see right here, I do mark out some of the losses as well, right? But our losses are very much minimal. In fact, we have a 90% win rate looking at the signals that I've given my group so far. Now, if you want the link to my Telegram, which is absolutely free to join, I'll link it in the description. But here's a sneak peek of what you get when you join in my Telegram. Here's a live trade that I actually did on 24th of July, and I shared this access to the people in my Telegram. In this live trade that I did, I actually went through what I was looking at, what were the entry criteria, how do you enter upon approaching the entry, and also where to exit. Not only that, I entered this even on my own account as I was sharing it during that time. And this trade went up 200 pips. And the people who were watching me, those who entered when I entered, also made money. Just like Stan here, who profited $145 during the trade itself. I also did another live trade, 4th of August. As you can see, this is the date. Same thing. I went through what I was looking at, went through the criterias, how to approach the entry, where to exit, and more importantly, where to protect your risk using the same strategies that I just shared just now. As you can see right here, SRR and R. This trade itself also ran 100 pips. And the people who were watching me, those who entered when I entered, also made money. Just like Henry here, who profited $50, Peter, who profited $216, Jason with $77, Keith with $12, Vincent with $130, Michael with $67, all who entered the same exact trade that I publicly shared with everyone. Now, I want to share a caveat here. I don't do this every week, but if I do, you can be assured that you're going to be in it for a good time. Not only that, I also do share trading education right here. For those of you who are new to trading, I share educational videos like this one here where I break down a trade that went 200 pips, how I caught the setup, so on and so forth. Not only that, let me share with you one thing that I'm frequently known for. I'm frequently known for taking out my crystal ball to predict the price of where gold is heading to next. Now, this was a recent prediction that I actually made. And if you want to see where gold is heading to, join in my Telegram and you will be able to see the post that I just posted right below here. Again, joining the Telegram is absolutely free. Link will be in the description. With that said, guys, I hope that the SRR strategy is able to help you in your trading. And if you want me to share more strategies like this one, for example, how do I spot the sell instead of just the buy? And also other strategies that I use, do comment in the comment section below so that I know. Now, if you want to watch the video that I shared in my Telegram where I call a 200 pips movement, I'll put this link right around here. So do make sure you check it out. With that said, Julian here signing off. I'll see you in the next video.